The Bible says to go into all the world and preach the gospel. How are we supposed to do that? It sounds a little daunting at times, doesn't it? It's like, I think of preacher, I think of someone behind a pulpit or even someone on a street corner. But how are we, all of us, supposed to go into all the world and preach the gospel? Let's talk about that today in your morning cup of inspiration. The word preach got me because I think of preach and preacher. So I looked up the word preach, and the definition of preach is to deliver a sermon or religious address to an assembled group of people, typically in a church. Well, that just knocked that out because I'm thinking not everybody can do that. And not everyone is a preacher. So then I went on and it said publicly proclaim or teach. I'm thinking, okay, now we're getting a little more in my ballpark and what I can do. And then it said explain earnestly or advocate a belief or course of action. Aha, that's the aha moment. That's what everyone can do. We tend to think of preaching in a negative way as something that's bad. It's because you see so many people that have they've ridiculed people that are on the streets, or they're wearing their placards, or they're in there preaching the gospel, but they're screaming at people, and they're preaching. The world's coming to an end, and it is. I mean, we all know that's going to be happening, but the preaching part, it gives a bad taste in people's mouth to think of a preacher coming at you, somebody that's preaching to you. What do they say when they get upset at you? Don't preach at me. I mean, that's basically what it seems like. You're not teaching. You're trying to jam something down their throat, and that's not what preaching is all about. See, actually, the Bible said that preaching is a good thing, but we don't necessarily have to do it on a street corner or behind a pulpit. We can preach quietly. We can be in conversation. We can be preaching. We do it through social media, like we're doing here right now. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, your own website that you may have, even Twitter. All ways of communicating the gospel, which is preaching the gospel, because it is proclaiming. It is sharing a belief, sharing an action. There are so many ways to share it. The point is, we just have to communicate. Over in Romans 10:4, it asks us, how then can we call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? That's you and that's me. The main way people come to the Lord is by hearing. And the Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 1:21, for since in the wisdom of God, the world through its wisdom did not know him. Boy, that's today, isn't it? The people don't know him because they're too smart. They don't think Christianity has enough to offer. It doesn't go deep enough. It's not mysticism in that. But it says God was pleased through the foolishness of what was preached to save those who believe. So you go to everyone you can and share the gospel in every way you can. Let them see Jesus in you. Let them know what you believe in, where your foundation's at. Whether it's friends or relatives or associates or neighbors, go into all your world and preach the gospel. God bless everyone. Look forward to seeing you again for another Morning Cup of Inspiration. Have a wonderful day.